are you doing? Ranger Liz here, talking about Beast Morphers episode 5 with you. Another fantastic episode of Beast Morphers, and why I think I finally got it this weekend. After getting to sleep in a little bit on Saturday, I didn't wake up until about 7:30. I gotta watch it with my daughter, and it's hitting on all cylinders on a lot of different ages. I am older, of course. I loved watching this episode. There was world building, there was plot movement. Like, every episode, the plot is moving. And that's great. I mean, you can't really call anything a filler episode yet because everything is building up to it. And I love that. I love the interaction between Devin and his dad. And you know what? I have a 2-year-old and she loved Ben and Betty. She loved watching the giant robots fight. She likes watching the battles, and everything has been done so well. I think that's why we're all enjoying it so much. But enough of the high level stuff. Let's get into talking about the actual episode. We open up with Devin meeting his dad at Sudsy's car wash. Now, I really liked Sudsy. I did, for being just the, kind of like the one-off character that we have for the episode. I really enjoyed him. He was acted well. He portrayed a lot of just bosses, that you have. He stuck to his guns whenever he had to get rid of Devin. I don't care if you're the mayor's son, you're not here, you're gone. I really enjoyed that, and it added a lot more real-life pressure to Devin in a sense of, it was like gravity, because I mean, it's like silly, he's working at a car wash or whatever, and his dad even says, hey, I know this isn't the most glamorous job, but you have to start somewhere. You have to get experience. You have to learn. And I really love that. I worked in fast food. My husband worked in fast food. We both worked in retail over the years, and when my daughter grows up, yeah, I probably will have her work in fast food for your retail, because one, you will learn some empathy for those people, and you will treat them a little nicer, and two, you will learn how much you absolutely despise the general public. Oh, I hate people. Oh, I hate people so much. But that's beside the point. They're there, and after all that rambling, because Devin's dad got him a job at the car wash, and Devin, of course, I can't take this right now, and your dad's like, what else do you have going on in your life? That's tough, because Devin can't tell him he's a ranger, but if you liked that thought of what's gonna happen between Devin and his dad and being a ranger and him not knowing, ooh, you better have loved this episode. And he has to get started right away, so Devin just shows up and he gets his uniform. He's like, hey, go wash cars. Sure, you don't have to fill out any paperwork or anything. No, bringing your social security card in and no W-9. Okay, that's sure. Don't fill out your W-4 information. I'm sure the tax man won't care at all. Your dad's the mayor. That's fine. I don't know. Going into the evil side of it, of course, Blaze has a plan. He's just gonna get Evox the Morph X, because the Morph X is the only thing keeping Evox there. Blaze's big plan, though, is just to build a Gigadrone big enough to just slice through the Morphex tower and gulp it up like a giant Capri Sun box, or Fruit Punch box, whatever. Capri Sun is in pouches, I guess. It's fine. It's fine. But he basically, I love one point, he just kind of peels it back and he's like, the Megazord, and this is really skipping ahead for the Megazord battle, but did you guys not love where he's holding the hand up, this is the evil one, holding the hand up, keeping the Zords at bay, just drinking in the Morph X. It just reminds you of all of the gifts, of Archer, and he's taking the drink. Love. I don't know, the thing is, it's Sensei footage, and that's maybe just me reading into it, but I just love the fact that this guy is the evil thing is drinking in the Morphex, and he's like, no, I'm gonna keep you back there. I'm still thirsty. Maybe it's the little things in this episode that just really made me chuckle. We get in, and Devin is late getting into the Grid Battle Force headquarters because he has this job, and he gets in, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. And I was like, turn. We had to meet a guy named General Burke. We heard that. Ben and Betty Burke. Yes, Ben and Betty have a dad, and he's the general, and he outranks the commander, and as Zoe, this is the stuff that I loved on this show. My daughter's giggling because Ben and Betty are being silly, and the Doggotronic, I love that Ben and Betty made this Doggotronic. So General Burke is there, and he's like, there's a great new idea for Grid Battle Force for my children. Ben and Betty and Zoe, just all of us goes, that explains a lot. It really, really does. That's why they're there. But you do have to give them credit. So they are coming up with things. They are testing things. They're actively working towards Grid Battle Force and the Power Rangers being stronger and better. So they had this idea, which was a really, really good idea. And of course, them being comedy, it had to be executed funny and stuff. But this Dog-O-Tronic, they took all these pieces of Tronics, reprogrammed them into something Grid Battle Force could use. Now, the Dog-O-Tronic, it was for laughs or whatever, sit, shake, and I really hope this suit actor that was doing it was just cracking up while doing it, because it was clearly a human, and this dog is in a weird Tronic-y dog thing. A complete side gag that people had to work on for days making this costume, and if you are one of them, for some reason, somebody who makes costume powders watching this, I loved it. Thank you for your work. It just made me laugh, right? So it was silly, but it gave the Rangers an idea that they could use parts of the tech that they've, you know, been destroying and whatever, and maybe getting something useful out of it. Now, this is just my thinking really ahead. This is where potential Megazords could come in, because remember, guys, they haven't really been talking about Megazords yet. They've been talking about the regular Zords, and we have the Beast Bots with it, and because this is Ranger, the Beast Bots can pilot the Zords on their own. What? So, but they're not talking about Megazords yet, and I really think this is going to be the precursor episode to them starting to take apart the technology that they got, and maybe potentially building a Megazord. Let's get into just a little bit of the middle plot here. We have Ravi and Zoe are out collecting parts, and they're putting them in this secret headquarters bunker, I guess, that Grid Battle Force didn't know about. It was from the higher-ups who knew about it. It was a hangar, and so Ravi and Zoe are picking up any parts that they find, like big Megazord parts, you know, taking them down into this hangar. They see Nate, and then we'd already talked about this, of course, whenever we got the preview for it, but you saw the Silver Ranger's head. Now, not with the antlers or whatever they're going to call, you know, it wasn't all of it, but it was the mask of it, and that went by slow, and I'm like, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, because Nate, you know, Nate always wanted a brother, and then Nate has to be on the buddy system, so he can't be left alone, and now, next episode, now you see the shell of this face, and it's building up, and I love it. I love that there's world building. I just keep smiling, and it just makes me happy. Man, I hope you guys are just happy about this as well. I love being like, I'm gonna rewatch this episode to write notes, and I'm like, sweet, I get to rewatch the episode and take notes about it this time. And I'm just happy about all of it. Okay, let's move on to the rest of it. Devin and his dad are at the car wash together. Devin's like, you know, back to work after meeting the general. That was his lunch break. And his dad shows up and has a really awesome, oh, let me take you to lunch. And he's like, I can't, you know, like, I'm busy. I have to work. So, hey, come on, Mayor. Like, you know, your son's working. Let's go. So he's like, well, I got some time. I'll help you out. I'll teach you some of my tricks. What, Dad? You used to wash cars? Yeah, how do you think I paid with all the days with your mother? Days with your mother? Okay, so Devin at least had a mom. Maybe has a mom, you know, like maybe Devin's got another younger sibling at home or something. Maybe she just got a normal 9-to-5 job. I don't know. But Devin at least had a mom in the picture at one point. And just so many parents. Ben and Betty got a dad this episode. Devin got his mom mentioned. That's awesome. But I love the fact that Mayor Daniels had a job like this, and you can tell he wants his son to kind of start somewhere, get a foundation, and build up, and then you can use those skills to do whatever else you want to do. But I really love that he was there, and I love the moment that father and son had, because it really helps bring more to when Devin was saying he never talks to me like, you know, he's never been like that. He looked so proud of me. He looked like he was so happy, and that's a feeling, you know, that pulls at the heartstrings. That's why Devin, he doesn't want to give up this job. And in the end, he has to, because he has to be a Power Ranger. He has to put the city first. And he had to put the people of Coral Harbor above his own relationship with his dad, something that you can tell he was desperately wanting, but he's willing to give that up because he's a Power Ranger first and foremost, and that sets up a lot for your Red Ranger. It sets up a lot when you're thinking, oh man, is this going to be another, you know, well, I don't want to say another, but, you know, like Wes and his dad and Time Force, this paradigm of his dad's view of the Rangers versus his son being the Ranger. And his dad has already started coming around a lot. You saw in this press conference, which I was actually going to mention a little later, but the press conference that he had, you know, he's like, before I've been hard on the Rangers, but now I'm, you know, we truly are proud of you. Your identities are secret, but we're proud of you. And Devin, you know, it kills you. It's like, well, he's proud of the Red Ranger, but not me. He's like, but, you know, someday he will be. Someday he will be. And Devin has to keep leaving this job because Blaze and the Robotron were out there, and, you know, Blaze makes a comment, aren't you a little short-staffed today? Where's Devin? Robbie says, he'll be here. Robbie has some confidence in his leader, and I really like that because I know an episode going forward, I think it's actually going to be next weekend's episode, is the whole, it's going to be a team thing. Like, Devin has a problem trusting his team, and maybe this could be it, which is strange because this did have more of a team, like, no, we're a team, we're going to be here to help you out. But when Blaze first was about ready to destroy the Rangers and Devin showed up late, Blaze was like, not kill, we don't say kill. I nearly destroyed them, and you're their leader. You know, where were you? Why weren't you here? That could play into some psychological stuff with Devin going forward. Again, potentially next episode of this. Team, are we your team, trusting each other, kind of in that. They haven't had, you know, a scruffle. They haven't really had an issue coming together as a team yet. Well, other than when they were trying to, I guess, other than, you know, when they were trying to decide who the leader was, but since they've really been going, they haven't shown any sort of tussles or anything. Devin at the car wash, I'm still assuming day one, knows he has to stay late and, you know, whatever it takes to try to make it work. He's trying to make it work, but he takes off his communicator, you know, and his cell phone, and Robbie and Zoe show up. They're going to help him because they're a team. That's what they do. So they all set their communicators down, and Blaze and the monster destroy them. Yeah, the robo. So they destroyed all their cell phones and communicators. So because they have no communicators and Great Battle Force has no way to get a hold of them, Blaze and them take down a tower and get 300 tons of Morph X. They use that to make a super powerful Giga Drone, which basically almost takes out the Rangers. It's the normal slicer drone, whatever his name was, except he had a big shield as a little add-on bonus. And, you know, then I talked about the fight already. He's holding the Rangers back. He does manage to peel it out. The Beast Bots control the Zords. And I've mentioned it already a bunch, but guys, these Beast Bots are so freaking important to the show. You know I already, looking ahead in the episode descriptions, Evox and them, they are going to try to start hurting the Beast Bots because they saw the Rangers were still on the ground, but the Beast Bots were still up in the air, and they're controlling them. Smash was like, what? You want me to do this without Ravi? And Jax is like, let's go. We got this. Bunny ears. Oh, yeah, this is my notebook, by the way, for been writing all my Power Rangers notes in my Power Rangers notebook. Handy dandy notebook. Right. Ding. This is my thinking chair that squeaks too much. Devin did have a hard time with the fight, though. That shield put all of his blasts back on him. He was down for a while, had to reboot his systems, and that's when Jax and Smash kind of came in and had to help him out. They had to keep the Gigadrome busy, you know, while Devin was rebooting the systems. Devin, at the end of the day, it was his instincts of rebooting the system. It was, you know, whatever, and that was what ended up helping save everything. And General Burke, at the end, what's wrong? You know, you look like somebody flushed your goldfish. He says he's fine, but you know, it's the issue. It's the thing with his dad that two things. So I do, let's kind of wrap up this episode description, episode whatever, talking about Devin and his dad and kind of the ending of it. So Devin was doing so much for his dad and to prove, you know, himself to him. But Sudsy is like, you know, your dad's gonna hear about this. The Rangers had to leave. You know, Commander Shaw came, you know, get in the car. Like, what is going on? Like, oh no, our communicators were destroyed. So to take off, but first, Devin, I have to go tell Sudsy. I mean, 5 points to him, man. He didn't just disappear. You know, he didn't, well, maybe nobody will notice. You know, I'm gonna duck off and try to slip back in. He flat out was like, I'm sorry. I gotta go. Your dad will hear about this. But Sudsy saw him get in the car. These cars are a little, I don't know, marked with the giant GB on them. I wonder, how did this all happen? Like, Devin left, and I'm really trying to get a grasp on the timeline, right? Devin left, looks like Sudsy called his dad. Devin left, and he's fighting, you know, he fights to protect a little girl, which is actually what his dad saw, was him saving a little girl. He, you know, answers the phone, is like, what, Devin did what? And then he got attacked, and so the call ended. So he knew something about Devin, and he watched the Red Ranger afterwards, and it made you think for a second, did he wonder, Devin ran off and disappeared, wait, here are the Power Rangers fighting. So we saw that, and Devin, as the Red Ranger, and his dad, they had this kind of eye contact for a second, which really made you think. And then afterwards, after he changed his mind about the Rangers, he was talking about how proud, you know, and he made this look of, even though we don't know who you are, we're proud of you. And for a minute, I really thought, like, if you would have saw that, you would have thought, okay, he really, yes, he did. But when you saw the mayor on TV, it didn't say live, it was a recording, so it means he probably mentioned it a little earlier, before he called his son, and then he was like, I talked to Sudsy, and he was really, really disappointed in him. So then that kind of made my theory of maybe he was actually talking to his son directly with it. Then you kind of wonder, like, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he really was just talking about the Power Rangers, and he has no idea that it's his son. But maybe he was proud of thinking it was someone else's son, you know? I don't know. These are just really exciting plot points that I hope we get to explore more, get to explore further down the line. I mean, I know, I'm sorry, this is already going to be quite a lengthy episode review, but I really love it. This episode, for what could have just been taken as, oh no, you know, you think Ninja Steel, Calvin and his job, I'm going to quit. It was just a weird side thing. They made this episode with just, oh, one of the Rangers has to get a job and it's going to be tough. To balance everything, gave you so much heart and feel and love for the Red Ranger and his dad and what's going on between it. And yeah, I just really loved it. I really did love this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And let me know in the comments, do you think when Mayor Daniels was talking on the recorded thing, you know, like the press conference, when he was talking about how proud he is of the Rangers, do you think he's like, I think my son's the Red Ranger? Do you think he has no idea? Or do you think maybe the thought has even crossed his mind? Let me know in the comments below, because I don't know. I'm thinking, you know, 1 second I think one way, 1 second I think the other. So I kind of want to know what you guys are thinking about that as well. But thank you so much for staying until the end of the video. This week I really, really am planning on getting the Smash and Cruise figures reviewed. I know, sorry, I'm only be doing like 1 review a week, but I want to get those guys done this week, as well as we're going to have to do the Villains chat, because there was a lot of really awesome villain stuff that I didn't get to mention in this one. Ranger and Toku week in review, of course, on Friday. Probably some Ryu Soldier stuff. Who knows? It's going to be a good week as always, guys. Hope the weather is beautiful wherever you are in the world, because it is for me, and it makes me happy. Okay. Ranger Liz out. I will see you at the next video, guys. Have a great day. Mwah. See you later. Bye. And